you. As the services begin, I just ask that everyone take a moment and make sure that your phones are on silent and on vibrate. We do encourage you to take photo and video. Please make sure your flash is off. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Michael McKellar. I'm the pastor here at the Oasis Naples Church, and I want to thank you for coming today. You know, I know we didn't plan for this. I'm sure just weeks ago on Christmas Eve, he had no clue that he was presenting himself as a gift as unto the Lord. It's the grace of God we know for those who put their hope in Christ, to be absent from the body is to be with the Lord. He's where we want to be, but not today. We still have work to do, and I believe that God is even using this moment to bring us together, to bring healing and comfort and encouraging one another. And if he had 5 more minutes to talk to us, I'm sure he would say, don't make me look all over heaven looking for you. Make your reservations. Let the suddenness of my departure be a reminder that we're not promised tomorrow. So I want to thank you once again for being here, supporting your family. Your presence says everything. I'd like to open up the prayer. Gracious and loving God, we come before you today with heavy hearts as we remember the life of Jean-Michel Leandre. We ask that you surround this family and all who are gathered here with your comfort and peace. Thank you for the gift of Jean's life and the love we shared. Be with us during this service, guiding our words and our thoughts, and grant us the strength and the hope. Amen. At this time, I'd like to invite Pastor Elizabeth Jourdain and Reverend Fritz to come up and translate this prayer into Creole. Yes, sir.
Greetings, everyone. On behalf of our family, I want to welcome and thank you all for being here today. Today, we honor and remember the life of Jean-Michel Leon, who passed away on Christmas Eve at 3:48 p.m. Today is a day of deep sorrow, and it is a day where we support each other, leaning on one another for strength and for comfort. Thank you.
We'd like to ask Nancy.
Good morning, everyone. The poem that I will be reciting this morning is called As I Sit in Heaven. As I sit in heaven and watch you every day, I try to let you know with signs I never went away. I hear you when you're laughing and watch you as you sleep. I even place my arms around you to calm you as you weep. I see you wish the days away, begging to have me home. So I try to send you signs so you know you're not alone. Don't feel guilty that you have life that was denied to me. Heaven is truly beautiful. Just you wait and see. So live your life, laugh again, enjoy yourselves, be free. Then I'll know with each breath you take, you'll be taking one for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy, for sharing those beautiful words. We'd like to pass the time to Martin Lee Luke Jr. for our eulogy this morning.
Good morning, everyone. I am Martelli Luke Jr. My parents are Martelli Luke Sr. and Louise-Ann Luke. My mom and Jean-Michel were siblings. He was her younger brother, and I obviously am his nephew. I must say that this has been a very challenging moment, and I've been praying to God since I got here to get me through it, and I know He will. I'd like to first begin by saying thank you to the family. I look around this sanctuary and I see so many faces that I recognize from when I was a youngster. So many wonderful people that have been a part of Jean-Michel's life. And I realized that there were so many people that you could have selected to say a few words about my dear uncle, who I called Uncle Yu, who called me babe or baby, but you didn't, you chose me. I'm not a pastor, I'm not a priest. I'm just a nephew who loved his uncle dearly. And I thank you for the opportunity you've given me to share a few moments today. It's been, like I said, an extreme challenge. And in preparation for this, I started thinking about Uncle Yu. And as I thought about my childhood, I couldn't help but think that I've had a number of wonderful aunts and uncles, very supportive, very comforting. Out of all of them, and all due respect to all of them, there is not one that saved me from more spankings, from more pops from my father than Jean-Michel. Not one. Because, as a child, I was a very active child. As a child, I was a very playful child, very curious child. And I believe as a child, I got mislabeled because of the way I carried myself. I was mislabeled. Well, the Haitian term for the way I acted as a child was called désordre. Little bad behind. That was me. And we gathered together so many times as kids. In the 70s and 80s, all of our families lived in New York and New Jersey. So every Christmas, New Year's, holiday, 6, 7, 8 times a year, we would all gather together. And when my father saw me having a désordre moment, he would look and he would say the same phrase, Junior, viens parler. My cousins are laughing because they remember this and they know, uh-oh, Mart's about to get slapped. Everybody, watch this. And Uncle Yu had a commanding voice, a very authoritative, very powerful voice. I remember a couple times when I was a kid, I'd be in the room and he'd come walking in and I didn't know he was there and he would just say my name, baby. And I remember I would jump because he was so commanding, so powerful. And he had an incredible way of storytelling. I mean, he could tell a story and paint a picture so well, you thought you were there with him in this story. And he had an incredible sense of humor. If you were around him for a little bit of time, he'd have you in tears laughing. And he loved playing games and watching sports and dominoes and bezique, and they loved that. So my father caught me in one of those moments and did that finger like this. Uncle would snap right into action. Uncle would start telling a story and get everybody all enthralled in the story. Or he would say something really funny to make everybody laugh. Or he would say to my dad, Majali, Pokipe baby, play. We got to play this game. He would do something to distract my father just enough so I can get away and I can live at least one more day. You know, and there's so many stories that I have about my uncle, so many stories that were shared with me. And for most of my life, I thought that uncle did that for me just because he loved me, just because he really wanted to just protect me. And then I started hearing stories from his siblings. And as I got older, my parents became a little bit more transparent and started sharing a little bit more about their lives as children. And I started hearing stories about uncle, and it hit me. At one time in his life, uncle was a playful, energetic, curious kid who maybe was mislabeled as Desert. One of the stories that was shared with me was about the time when he wanted to play soccer. He loved the sport so much. He wanted to play so desperately. And Pelion, his dad, said, "No, you're not playing. And to make sure you don't play, I'm gonna take your sneakers away." And uncle, being the playful, joyous, energetic child that he was, waited till nobody was looking, and he went and played anyway. Grabbed his sister's shoes, cut off the bottoms, and went out there and played. And at the end of all that, when he got back, Pelion was there waiting on him with the finger like my father did me. Vim Paleo. But uncle had a guardian angel. Many of them did. Matan talked to me about this. Nanziki, the savior. Some of you know that name. She was the one that protected all the kids, and she protected him many times. So in retrospect, as I'm an adult now, I realize uncle, not only did he love me and want to take care of me, he was paying back what was done for him. So many stories were shared with me in preparation for this. I had an incredible time communing with his lovely wife, Evelyn, my Aunt Tutu. In our communications, she shared with me the genesis of the relationship, how it all got started. She shared with me how as a young child, as a young woman, he began courting her, very young age. He targeted her and said, "Oh, no, she's the one. She's the one who I'm gonna spend my life with." And she talked to me about how, as a young child, she was in a book club. And her uncle all of a sudden joined the book club just to begin a relationship, begin that courtship. And then she told me how eventually she went into her room on the second floor, and uncle and his friends all got together with their instruments and went to the balcony of the apartment next to hers and began playing the instruments. And he began singing and serenading Matan Tutu to show her, "Hey, listen, this is serious. I think you and I are going to form a long-term relationship." And now here we are, 51 years later, married. Parents of 4 incredible children. To this day, she still talks about how their love language of holding hands and showing affection through personal touch, how it continued from beginning to end, holding hands, and how the kids would make fun of her and him, and maybe even go into the room at night and take pictures of them holding hands while they're sleeping. You know, just wonderful, wonderful stories. And I have so many. I wish I could share them all. The siblings, the children, all of you shared incredible, incredible stories about your father. I talked to all of you individually, but all the stories are the same. They all talk about a father who provided, who protected, and made sure that nothing happened with his children. A father that was a strict disciplinarian. He had morals and standards that he set and that he held you guys accountable for. But he also had a sense of humor. He also was able to show you that he loved you. Even in the midst of him calling you a big dummy or something like that, he showed you that he loved you. There's so many. Think I'm emotional now? You should have seen me when I was reading Tara's love letter to her father. It brought me to my knees. Incredible. Incredible showing of love for him and appreciation for what he's done for you. And the grandchildren. I've talked to everybody. Kamal, Candace, little Kiki, Kayla, Sierra, Cece, and I saw Isaiah, Stevens, and Anaya in the back before. I didn't get a chance to really talk to each of you individually, but everything that was said about you was that he loved you guys tremendously. Words cannot really sum up how he felt about you and your accomplishments, your sporting accomplishments, your academic accomplishments, your hugs, your kisses, your visits, your phone calls lit up his life. Cannot really describe it. It was so strong. He so much appreciated you. And the thing is with you guys is that you had an added benefit. You see, the kids, they had the tough disciplinarian. They had the tough love. You guys had the benefit of really not getting that much of that. For you, you had the love, the pure, absolute agape love. That's what you guys got. You really didn't get the discipline. Well, maybe you did, Kamal. You're well, let me think about it. Well, let me check that. Because you and Brian ain't that much difference in age. All right. So he was still in pop mode. They got Papa Gene. You got Pop. So you know about that belt in the closet. All right. Just a public service announcement for all of you that are not of Haitian descent. Most Haitian fathers, especially if they have boys, most Haitian fathers have a belt in the closet that is not for wearing. That is just for discipline. So at the end of this, Mike, Kamal, Brian, have a ceremony in the back, burn that belt. Go right. It's gone already. All right, good. I mean, there's just so many stories, so many wonderful things have been said and given to us by our dearly departed, by our loved one. And he had so many different personas, so many different relationships here, relationships spanning even before I was born. So many people have been affected positively by him. I mean, he's gone by so many different names. Some call him Gene. One calls him Shelly. Many call him Yu, or Uncle Yu. Some call him Pop. Some call him Papa Gene. So many different, all coming down to one person, one man, Jean-Michel. There is power in that name. There is significance to that name. In Arabic, Jeen means gift of grace or gift from God. In French, Michel refers back to the name Michael, which is traced to the Archangel Michael, God's most trusted and fierce warrior, Jean-Michel. The characteristics of the Archangel Michael were courage, diligence, leadership. And when you think about that, that's exactly what he was. He lived those characteristics. Because you had to have courage to do what he did. You had to have courage to come from a foreign country to North America, where you have a different climate, a different culture, a different way of living. In 1970, 1971, at the heart of the civil rights movement, where people of color were dealing with blatant, outright racism and bias, and stand tall in that, and marry the love of your life and raise 4 beautiful children. You had to have courage to do that. You had to have leadership, which is what he was. And it's difficult being a leader, because as a leader, you can't just talk about it. You got to live it. So the morals and the standards and the codes that he set for you, he had to live it himself first. He had to stand tall. And the thing is, you really want to get Uncle upset, you really want to get him on his last nerve, mess with what's his. Mess with his family. That's my son. It's my daughter. That's my wife. That's my family. It's my pride. You don't mess with what's his. The last characteristic is diligence. Everybody knows this. Uncle never, ever, ever stopped until the job was done. He was a worker. He always worked. Why wait and have someone else do something when I could do it right now? You know how many times I've called the house? Or how many times any of us have called the house and we said the same exact thing? We've had our conversation with Mata, and then at the end we say, Mata, where's Uncle? Oh, baby, you know your uncle. He's outside in the yard. We know where he's gonna be. Because he always wanted to put in that work. He always wanted to fix something or cut something or mow something or plant something or create something that he was never actually trained in creating. And that was him. And when you marry those two names, Jean-Michel, Jean-Michel, that means he was a gift from God of courage, a gift from God of leadership, a gift from God of diligence. And now there are critics or non-believers that think when you see correlations like this, they'll say, that's luck, or that's a coincidence, that's ironic. I don't believe that. The believers don't believe that. The believers believe that God was in the middle of this plan the entire time. When Pelion and Gamaliel, when they were naming Jean-Michel, God was there, letting them know, no, this one, he's special. This one, he's a gift. So we're going to recognize and honor that gift by naming it to him and letting everybody know for his entire life, this is the gift that I'm giving you. And in the human condition, it is very difficult to handle when a gift that we've had for a very long time, a gift that we love, a gift that has given us so much, a gift that has been a part of our life, giving us a kick in the behind when we need it, a pat in the back when we need it, a hug when we need it, when that gift is different. That gift is not the same. That gift is not tangible. You can't touch that gift anymore. And the human condition is very, very difficult to deal with that realization. And this ceremony is set up for us to make an official transition in our minds of the way things are now. That gift has changed from the physical to the spiritual. And we have to make that adjustment. And I know that it can be an extreme challenge because it seems like it happened overnight. I know that it can be incredibly, incredibly difficult. We may need a minute to try and wrap our head around what is actually going on. I just need everything to stop for a second. I need the entire world to stop for a second and realize that I'm going through something. I'm having a challenge because I really can't deal with this adjustment that has been sprung on me. It's been difficult. But if we are really, really thinking about the life of Jean-Michel, he would not want that. He would not want us to stop, to keep going. He would want us to keep going. He'd want us to keep living. And that's what we're gonna do. And the way we keep Jean-Michel living is by taking all these stories, all this love, all these memories that he shared with us, and we share with everybody else we come in contact with. We make sure our children and our children's children know what it's like to be a loved one, a descendant, a relative of Jean-Michel through us and how we carry ourselves. I thank God for his presence in my life. And I thank God for the family. I thank you again for giving me an opportunity to say some wonderful things about my uncle, because the job is not done. We have to keep going. Thank you for your time and attention. Stay blessed.
Such a fitting eulogy. Hearing those words remind us all of the impact that Uncle Yu made. The man he was and the man that we loved. So thank you, Martelly. The next segment of our program are the tributes. So our next speaker up will be Michel Leon, followed by Candice Pacena, Miriam Augustin, and Pastor Elizabeth Jordan.
First and foremost, I just want to take a moment to thank every last person in this room. I know it was a lot for a lot of you to come here after the holidays, but there's a very special man laying in this casket. And I think by the show out in this room, it's evident how much he was cared for. Amen. I want to talk about three things when we speak about my father. Love, humor, and wisdom. One thing I learned from my dad is that love paramounts everything. The love for your family, the love for yourself, the love for the people that you hold dear to you. Without that, what are we really doing here, right? My dad was never too old to stop teaching me how to become a better person. And I associate that with my dad teaching me how much he loved me, or showing me how much he loved me. Because as most of you know, in the beginning, I was not the best kid. It was hard for my parents, and I'm aware of that. I didn't make life easier on you, but it persevered, and look where we are now. I'm gonna tell you how that probably one thing I love most about my father is how much he loved my mother. I never had that. As far as like a significant other that I already knew from day one, you're my everything, we're spending the rest of our lives together. And I always wish I did, but I did, because I had it in you. It was there the whole time. I was just looking for it in the wrong place. Mom, thank you for putting up with me and teaching me how to behave. The hard work that I do now, everything that I do to please you, you made me a better man because you taught me how to be him. I can never thank you enough for that. So from here on out, I'm just going to spend the rest of my life praising you for making me the man that I am today. I love you more. Okay, let's talk about the humor of my dad. Because as much as you know, my dad always gonna block somebody. He always had a joke, and like Martelli said earlier, when it came to telling stories, there was no one greater than my dad. And I think everyone will say that about their father, but I don't think any of you mean it as much as I do. That man right there was the commander of every room he walked into. The second the door opened, you heard that voice. You couldn't help but hear before you walked into the room. My dad had a presence that was beyond his presence, if you know what I mean. He's not gone. My dad's gonna live on. He's gonna live on through me. He's gonna live on through you. He's gonna live on through you. A piece of him is going to be with every single person in this room. That's why you are here. So let me tell you a story. Keep them bound blood. So one day, I'm in my house washing dishes. I'm probably like 15 years old. There's a knock on the door. My dad answers the door. He doesn't know the guy, but they're asking for me. So, okay, Mike, if the people asking about me, I'm doing dishes because, you gotta do your chores. If not, fix them. So, I'm in the kitchen doing dishes, but, he says somebody to the door, I go to the door, whatever. It's a guy I know, a couple of guys I don't know. Long story short, I was getting jumped. That was the beginning of me getting jumped in my front yard. Guess what happened? My dad comes running out of the house with a machete to save me. My dad. Now you're laughing, but in the moment, that was like life or death for me. I had no idea what was going on. But of course, my father came to rescue me. Like, come on. Like, if that's not the example of what a dad is supposed to do, then what is? You're supposed to protect them you love. You're supposed to love them. My dad could have easily went back to his room and then, none the wiser. But no, he waited to see what these guys asking for my son. I will never, ever amount to the man that he is. I'm going to spend the rest of my life trying. Because he is a real man. That is the mark of a real man, and I know that. So I'm going to spend every day trying to be like him. I'm going to let him to you. I'm going to let him to you. We're back on? All right, so with that being said, I just wanted to take a moment to thank you and thank him for teaching me to be a better person. Now, with that being said, I do not want to make this moment about me at all, but I need a moment. Can you both please come up here? Guys, this is going to be tough. All right, for those of you who don't know, which you can probably tell by looking at them, this is my daughter Caleb, and that's my daughter Kiara.
Hi.
All right, so I brought them up here for a very, very special reason. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm gonna put this down a second. So I'm gonna tell you guys one more story. It's the last one, I promise. So shortly before my dad passed, my sister, myself, Kamal, and Brian took my dad on a walk around my house. At that point, he was basically wheelchair bound. He couldn't do too much, but my dad still had the power to speak. And one thing I love about my dad is whatever he was feeling in the moment is what he told you, because he felt like you needed to hear it. So me trying my best to be this great son to my dad these past 5 years, little did I know there was one thing that was still bothering him about me. Petit garçon. That I wasn't the father he was. That I didn't cherish my family the way he did his. So I'm humbling myself before all of you now, with my kids by my side, to let you know that message did not go over my head. The moment will not pass me. That's why I'm standing here before all of you with my daughters next to me. My mother taught me well. My mother taught me well, and so did my dad. And with that, I make a vow to all of you to apologize for the person I've been, but to present to you. So, with that being said, Caleb, I'm sorry. Kiara, I am sorry for not being the person you deserved, for not being the father you deserved. You both grew up to be beautiful, successful young ladies, and I couldn't be more proud of you. And I need you to know that. All right? Guys, listen. Let me help you. Okay. All right, one last thing, and I'm gonna let you guys go. I feel like I've been here for too long. I know a lot of you came from very far to be here. A lot of you. And I need you to know, wherever you came from, I, speaking on behalf of my father, appreciate you. I am trying to make eye contact with each and every last person in this room, because I need you to understand the sincerity in my voice right now. I couldn't be any more genuine than I am being right now, that I love you all. My father loves you all. My mother loves you all, and we appreciate you being here. On behalf of everyone with the last name Yonder, Hussein, Luke, everyone, if you're here today, we thank you for being here. Thank you.
Okay, hello everyone, and thank you for being here today. I am Candace Anya Jean Pastena, Jean Leandre's first granddaughter, and more commonly referred to him as Twin, as I am lucky enough to share his first name as well as the same birth date. Today we're here to celebrate my grandpa, better known to my siblings, cousins, and I as Papa Jean. He was a man whose presence was felt the moment he entered a room. He didn't need to say too much to be noticed. His smile did that for him. It was the kind of smile that made you feel welcome and safe just after witnessing it. My grandpa and I share more than just a bond. We share a name and a birthday. Having his first name as my middle name always felt like an honor, but now it feels like a responsibility. To carry a piece of him forward and to live in a way that reflects the love and joy he gave so freely. He was the kind of man who could dance to no music at all and make everybody laugh because of it. He was joyful without a reason, expressive without needing permission, and fully himself at all times. He reminded us that happiness isn't something you wait for, it's something you create, especially when around friends and family. More than anything, my grandpa showed up. He was present, truly present, in conversations, celebrations, and in everyday moments that others might overlook. He made time for the people he loved, and he made sure that we knew it mattered to him. His legacy isn't just in the memories we hold, but it's in the way he made us feel seen, loved, and valued. And as much as we'll miss him, I know his spirit lives on in every smile we share, every laugh that comes too easily, and every moment that we choose joy, especially when there's no music playing. I will always be reminded of him when I hear humming or the smell of coffee in the morning, or when I see butterflies floating around flowers in a random person's yard, or when I hear a crazy deep voice that can sometimes be hard to understand. Excuse me. Papa Gene, thank you for your love, your laughter, and the light you brought into our lives. Thank you for sharing your name with me, your birthday with me, and your heart with all of us in the room today. I promise to carry that light forward. You will always be remembered, and you will always be loved. Thank you.
Good afternoon, good evening, everybody. My name is Miriam Leandre Joseph, and I am from that part of the family. My parents cannot be here, they're in Haiti, but I wanted to share a few words about Monokuyu. I'm very emotional because after what you have said about him, what can we say? What else can we say? So the only thing that I can share is a story of love. I was hoping Tantutun was there to hear it, but one of you had that voice, so I was scared of him, big time. But summers, I was coming to spend time with them, vacation, and I remember that voice, I was scared of him, staying in your bedroom, Cynthia, at that time. And Brian was maybe 2 years old, even maybe, yeah, you could say mama, so maybe 2 years old. And I remember every night around 11 p.m. or sometime around that time, I will hear Monoyu coming out of his room, and I will hear Brian saying, "Mommy, Mommy." He will repeat that thing. And I realized that every night it's time for Tantutun to come back from work. She was working night shifts, and she was coming back from work. And every night, religiously, Monoyu will be in the kitchen making tea for his wife. I was like, that man with that voice, everybody's scared of him at the age that I was, but every single night, and I was there maybe for 2 straight weeks, he's going into the kitchen. I know it's time because I hear Brian, and he's making that tea. And by the time for Tantutun to be back and get in the house, they will sit together at the table in the kitchen, and they will start talking. And my life, I'm like, I want to have something like this. I want to have someone waiting for me home, preparing some tea, waiting for me because he will be back from work earlier and he will be in the bedroom. But at that time, he will be there waiting for Tantutun. And I spent my life looking for something like this until I was able to find that person. Thank baby. And to me, when you showed me, you can be a very strong man. 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 You can be a very strong man but you can also be that caring man. You can be that loving man. You can be a man for a woman. So I spent my life looking for a man that can be a man for the woman that I am. And it's because he taught me that, and I was maybe 14 years old. So he was and is an amazing man. He's living through all of us, as you've said. And our responsibility is to be the best person that we can be. So one day, someone will stand and talk about us the same way that you, I, everybody has been speaking about him. We need to live a life of fulfillment. We need to be present because he was always present. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. How you doing today? I know. For you who don't know me, my name is Elizabeth, and this is my husband, Fitzgerald Jordan. And I'm gonna give you a story. I'm gonna read something that he wrote for our 25th anniversary. However, one thing I can say, he's always gonna give you a lift. Ma bon gauche. Ma bon gauche. Always. And I can say that my brother-in-law dearly, dearly loved my sister. And I thank God because God gave me someone who truly loves me, who lives for me. So I thank God for that. I know it's a very difficult time for all of you. I was listening to all of you talking. There is nothing else I can say. No, because you guys said everything that are in my heart to say about him. So there is nothing left to say except that I'm a bit emotional. I love my sister so much. My brother here, my sister, Anya cannot be here because some of you know she has cancer. She tried to come. She ended up in the emergency room, so she's not here. But the three of us left that are here, I want to say thank you to every single one of you, my nieces, all beautiful people. When we are celebrating our 25th anniversary, I called and I said, Tune, I was talking to Fritz and he said he would like to have a best man. And I told him, I think we should ask Yu because he's the person to me that would fit, because you need someone who as an example, and I think he was an example. So when we asked him, he was delighted. And then I said, Anya is gonna be the maid of honor because of her situation. And when Yu came, he wasn't feeling well, but he accepted with joy. And he wrote something for me and Fritz. But he didn't have a chance to read what he wrote. So I'm gonna read it for you because he was a proud man of where he came from, Okap. What he wrote was in French and Creole. I know some of you are not gonna understand, but bear with me, please. Mesdames, Mesdemoiselles et messieurs, au nom de Fritz et Elisabeth Jourdain, je vous remercie infiniment d'être venus en si grand nombre, si chic et merveilleux, pour rehausser l'éclat de cette festivité. Regardez donc ces deux pigeons souriants et éclatants de bonheur. Il ne faut pas la peine de chercher des mots pour exprimer leur émotion. Oh, excusez-moi, j'ai oublié de m'introduire. Non pas, c'est Jean-Michel Léandre. Zami mrelem youyou. Moi, c'est Nego Cap, haïtien. À l'âge de 13 ans, à courir sous 14 ans, maman ak petit yo, t'es entré Port-au-Prince. Nous t'es habité dans plusieurs quartiers avant nous tomber Carrefourfeuille, qui coulier c'est un territoire perdu. C'est